So I actually recorded a video with Chuck yesterday about this, or last night, and, well, it was a good recording. We got everything out of the way, except I felt like there was something on the tip of my tongue the whole time that I was missing. Like, I was rambling in the video a little bit near the end, because I was trying to think, what am I missing in this video? So today, I'm going to go over the power of Kefla. Apparently she's not Kefla, she's Kefla. So we're going to go over the power of Kefla and go over the numerous misconceptions that happened, and I also want to touch up on some things that happened in episode 114 and a little bit to do with the preview as well. Now, I'm not going to claim everything is 100% fact in this video. I mean, most of the things I say are fact, like if I use guides and stuff like that, but I can't objectively say how strong Kefla is until the next week's episode when we see her fight Super Saiyan Blue. So when it comes to like Super Saiyan Blue versus Kefla, that's going to be a little bit more subjective, but everything else should be pretty objective. Also, if you like what I do, you like my content, be sure to slap a subscribe on there. I'm really close to 200k, and I'd really appreciate it if I could just get that last 1,000 subs. I'd really appreciate it. Maybe even slap a like on it if this answers some questions you had, and let's get started. So episode 114 has this amazing animation, and it starts off with like Goku versus Kale and Caulifla, and this kind of confirms my suspicion that Goku has been holding back. I know I'm pegging that point a lot in my videos recently. Goku's holding back. Goku's holding back. I sound like a broken record. I get it. But it's very important because the newer episodes are really solidifying that point, and people, all the misconceptions people had before are being answered by these suppression points. And the biggest one was always, why is Berserker Kale choking Goku Blue out? And then here we are, Kale gets a mastered Berserker form that's even stronger than Berserker, this is stated. And Goku is just slapping, is not really slapping, but is fighting her and Caulifla at the same time. Also, there's this point where Jiren twitches at Kale appearing. And this is a big point in the next episode, like, oh my god, Jiren's twitching at Kefla. But it's like, apparently Jiren twitching doesn't really signify much of anything. Maybe he just has some muscle spasms, because Kale is literally like Super Saiyan 2 Goku level, if not even inferior, because Goku is still fodder compared to his full power, because obviously he's very fatigued still. Vegeta also says that he's the number one Saiyan. Now, this is kind of going into the whole theory of everyone was bringing up before, like, Vegeta might be hiding something because he wasn't freaking out about Ultra Instinct. And here he is again saying, yeah, I'm the number one Saiyan. And then he punches Toppo in the mouth. So it's like, damn, is Vegeta really holding something back? Like, I don't want to, like, dismiss anything. Obviously, I feel like Vegeta's going to have his time to shine in this tournament. And him having, like, a new Super Saiyan form while Goku has Ultra Instinct might fit that niche a little bit. Also, this is a pet peeve I had with the episode. Caulifla and Kale were holding hands a lot. Now, I don't really have a problem with that. That's not the point. But it got to the point where, like, Caulifla, like, spanked Kale. And I was like, alright, this is going a little too far. Like, if Goku and Chi-Chi were doing this, it would be a little bit weird. So, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, maybe we should hold down on, like, the sexual tension a tad bit. Goku is also shaking to Kale's power as well at one point. Now, there is a mistranslation on Crunchyroll. It says, oh, this must be her Saiyan instinct. But Herms on Twitter confirms that Goku's talking about his own instincts are making him excited to fight Kale. He's not scared, per se. And this is also backed up because Goku's literally just chilling still. He doesn't power up anymore after they get more stronger or whatever. And Dispo, Frieza is like on this rock in base form, shooting lasers all over the ring. And Dispo cucks to him. He's like, yeah, I can't take this guy on. So it's like, is Dispo weaker than base Frieza? Is Dispo fatigued? Does Dispo know about Golden Frieza? We don't really know. Either way, all we know is that Frieza, more than probably, would destroy Dispo in a fight. Also, to back up that Kale is not blue level, of course, Goku is able to push her off pretty casually with like a foot blast while fatigued. Some people were saying, well, Goku is stronger now after breaking his limits to the Spirit Bomb. Now, I would agree with you. I really would. Like, if Goku got a Senzu Bean right now, he'd be stronger than ever before. However, it should be noted that Goku is not even strong enough to go Super Saiyan, so he's nowhere near his full power. It's kind of illogical to say that this, like, fatigued, can't even go Super Saiyan Goku, well, at least couldn't before, is stronger than, like, prime start of tournament power Goku. It seems a little bit illogical, in my opinion. And Frieza and Vegeta don't really seem to be suggesting he got any stronger, per se. They're just like, oh yeah, this seems about right. In fact, Frieza even starts predicting that the fight will be interesting when Kefla appears, so implying he knows what Goku's really capable of. Speaking of Frieza as well, Frieza in his base form confronts Kale and Caulifla and Goku. By the way, Frieza's not even base Goku level. I've established this before. Base Goku craps all over base Frieza. And this is shown in Revival of F. And of course, the golden form is just much stronger than blue in terms of a multiplier. And that's why they're still like relative when they transform. And base Frieza is here. And Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla charges up an attack. Frieza laughs and then makes a death ball in base form, so he's about to use his base energy to take on Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla, who's pissed. So this also confirms once again base Goku, if he was at full power, would probably slap the shit out of Caulifla and Kale, and this is kind of backed up by Frieza. And I was kind of suggesting this before. If Goku was so tired he couldn't even go Super Saiyan before and he's still taking them on, it really does suggest, hey, Saiyan beyond God is a thing. Frieza then gets interrupted by, like, the Flash. He's completely irrelevant, just like kind of a gag character. Goku says he'll go all out, probably lying again. He said he's going to go all out like 80 times now in this same fight. And then he starts to get mugged by Caulifla and Kale. While getting mugged by Kale, Caulifla tries to jump him, and Goku blocks all her punches with one arm, and then slams Kale on the ground. It kind of suggesting, once again, Goku's not really going all out. And then Goku goes Super Saiyan God. Alright. Now, this is a little bit weird. Goku needing Super Saiyan God is probably because he's tired, once again, and Super Saiyan 2, while he's tired, is just not cutting it. Kale and Caulifla have this ass pull power that's just bringing him to whatever new heights they can imagine, right? But God confirms that Kale and Caulifla are slightly relevant. A lot of people are like, nah, they're fodder. It's like, I think you're jumping the gun a little bit. Like, once they get their ass pull powers and they start getting transformations up the ass, like, they're going to be made relevant by the writers. It only makes sense. In an ironic twist as well, Kale shoots a blast at Goku, and Goku Broly's Kale. Like, he goes through the blast and then kicks her in the mouth. So, that confirms there is, in fact, a gap between the Super Saiyan God and, Kale and Caulifla. Kale and Caulifla then fuse, and this is where we get into the nonsense. So, let's go over what happened with Kefla. Alright. Kefla appears. Flexes on Goku, like, kind of, like, appears next to him. Looks like she, like, ripped ass in his face, like, literally. And Vados then states, with the Patara earrings, actually, he just says the Patara earrings are several tens of times stronger than normal. Boy. Now, there are so many things wrong with this. Now, for one, this would probably fall into the categories of A, death of the author. It's where the author states something that can be disproven with their own story. It's like saying that Toriyama said, oh, the whole Dragon Ball verse is actually a purple dinosaur when we've seen the whole verse from the outside. Be kind of like that. And two, you have Gawasu also stating, wow, Goku, when he went Super Saiyan 2 versus Zamasu, he's like, wow, he's tens of times more powerful. And by the way, Herms confirms that Vados says several tens, so it's not just maybe like a 2 tens, it's several tens of times. So, what this implies, and I'm surprised nobody in the community has really brought this up yet. Everyone's like, what? How is tens of times stronger than God? And they don't really go into detail, but several tens of times would imply that Kefla is weaker than Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla. I don't know if you guys know what tens means, but tens means probably, more than likely, less than 100. And I also don't know if you know this, but Super Saiyan 2 is confirmed 100 times and beyond for Berserker, which is stronger than Caulifla, as shown with God Goku, when Goku shoots a casual ki blast at both of them. Kale can barely push it off, and Caulifla gets one-shotted. So you kind of get the hint that Caulifla is a lot weaker than Kale. And both these forms are stronger than 100 times using the Daizenshu. Well, not the Daizenshu, but the Super Exciting Guide. Now, even if you said, oh, you know what, the Super Exciting Guide, I don't really buy it, you know, whatever, it's not Toriyama. Toriyama did confirm that Super Saiyan is above 50 times of a multiplier. And then you'd also have to factor in the fact that God is stronger than 3. So are you saying that Super Saiyan is 50 times, and then times Super Saiyan 2 times Super Saiyan 3 is still less than 100? And then God is still less than 100? illogical, completely illogical. And you also need to remember that this isn't like Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. This is base Kefla, meaning she doesn't have the Super Saiyan 2 times 100 amp, meaning that base Kefla, by Vados' logic, would be weaker than Caulifla and Kale individually, which is exactly the opposite of what we're shown and stated to be. So, the only way to actually use this argument is to imply that Vados is simply referring to suppressed Kefla. There's no other way to argue it. It's completely a logical fallacy to use this, and death to the author does apply to this situation. And also, we do know that the Angels have been kind of iffy with their statements so far, like Goku versus Caulifla. You know, Whis is trying to explain what's going on, and then later in the fight, he gets disproven by the own fight. He's like, oh wait, did I actually say that? The Angels aren't exactly 100% fact if they can be disproven. However, they are a valid source of information, so it might be possible, hey, maybe suppressed Kefla is maybe dozens or tens of times more powerful. And to go into detail about how strong Kefla would actually have to be, we don't know the difference between God and Super Saiyan 3. However, we do know how strong fusions should actually be. For one, Vegito in the Super Exciting Guide and the Daizenshu is implied to be stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And the Daizenshu specifically said, without a doubt, base Vegito is stronger than Super Saiyan 3. Without a doubt. That's over 400 times multiplier. Without a doubt, base Vegito is stronger. And then in Kai is canon to Super Gregory. So Kai is canon. And in Kai, base Vegito versus Buhan's like, wow, you really are stronger than the two of you were when you were fighting me before. And that's kind of common sense. Of course he is. And these are both Super Saiyan 2 level fighters that are fighting Buhan, maybe Super Saiyan 1, it doesn't matter, but base Vegito is way beyond that, and Buhan should logically be stronger than Super Saiyan 3 as well. So here's base Vegito taking on that. And in the manga, base Vegito makes Zamasu crap himself more than the Super Saiyan Blues he was just shitting on. He's like, alright, you know what, you got a lot stronger, but I can probably maybe still take you out in your base form, right? After he blew up his arm. And then Zamasu wasn't expecting Vegito to go blue on top of that, suggesting that Vegito was most likely stronger than the blue Goku we just saw. So is Potara being stronger than the God forms logical? Sure. But a lot of people are also like, wait a minute. In Battle of Gods, why is it that Super Saiyan God was capable of being a match for Beerus, or at least suppressed Beerus, but Goku thought Vegito was completely out of the question? This doesn't add up logically. And the logical answer, alright, I'm gonna bring this up again. I know I've been bringing this up a lot, but it's almost like stacked Super Saiyan God or absorbed Super Saiyan God is different than the initial one. It's almost like I've been saying it the whole time, guys. Really. I mean, maybe we should, maybe you should just listen to the theory a little bit, alright? So, the point is, when he did the initial God ritual, he had the powers of all the Super Saiyans. They went to his body. Some translations even have characters say, wow, you're the strongest fighter in history, even before he goes God. And then he gets God Ki and a completed ritual on top of that, and he grows exponentially more powerful. He reaches a different plateau of power. And then his body turns that Super Saiyan God ritual into normal Ki. His normal Ki that he can use at any time into his Super Saiyan form, and that's why everyone can sense him fighting Beerus later on. He then absorbs, and then he then gets strong enough to the point that his base form can surpass his Super Saiyan form, which is why people say he absorbed God into his base form and made it his normal Ki. Then, by using God Ki that he learned with Whis and stuff like that in the God Chambers, he can learn to stack God Ki on top of that. It's not the same as absorbing the combined energies of all the Saiyans. It's more like a separate transformation. So you have Ritual God and you have Stacked God. That's what I like to call them, because one is stacking a God transformation on top of your absorbed God state. So they are two different things entirely. And if you use this, it explains it way more than saying, well, Goku got 1 gajillion times stronger every time he uses God because he goes from Galaxy to Universal with a Super Saiyan God form. It makes a lot more sense. So for people that are like, Seth, what do you mean God has a gajillion times multiplier? Look at Kefla with a 10 times multiplier slapping him. It's like, you're you're making a little bit of a leap in logic. It's a little bit out there. So to boil this down, it should also be noted that all fusions do have different multipliers. The Potara isn't really a set multiplier. It depends on the fusees. Now, there is a misconception with Vegito, though. A lot of people think Vegito has, like, this rivalry boost, and that's not necessarily the case. The case with Vegito is that he's simply a perfect fusion between Goku and Vegeta. The big translation comes, it's like a mistranslation in the manga where old Kai's like, well, and because they're rivals, they get even stronger than that. But in the actual translation, all it says is, and it doesn't hurt that they live to outdo each other. It says nothing about strength. And also, it's very interesting because Kibito Kai, who is literally a Potara fusion, says, he's incredible, Boo is helpless. I didn't know that Potara was so powerful, even though he's literally fused with Potara. And then the old Kai actually suggest those two just have the power. Two of the greatest masters in the world of the living and the dead fused together. Because base Goku and Vegeta are stronger than Supreme Kai in Dragon Ball Kai. This is shown with the Z-Sword because base Goku is able to casually swing around the Z-Sword, whereas Kibito and Supreme Kai's all couldn't do it before. And it's also shown with Gohan in his training that it's impressive. So you do get this idea that the fusions are different in power, especially with Kibito Kai. And it's also shown with Zamasu because originally in Toyorama's notes that he gave to everyone about the Black Arc, he actually suggested that 2 Super Saiyan Blues should be enough to slap Zamasu. It's like, really? I mean, you have Black, who's like maybe above Blue level, so maybe that. But then it's like, Zamasu is just absolute fodder to Black. So when they fuse, their fusion is imperfect. They're different species. It doesn't work. They have nowhere near the maximum boost that Vegito would have. And this is shown in his notes. And it's kind of shown in the anime a little bit as well. Like, Zamasu has to undergo like this hideous FAP transformation to even take on Vegito. And in the manga, Goku's almost able to take him out by himself. And if Vegeta did the same thing, maybe they actually would take out Zamasu. Anyways, I don't want to get into the whole multiplier of Vegito. I mainly just want to talk about Kefla. The thing also with Kefla is that later on, Super Saiyan Blue Goku fights Kefla, and Kefla in the preview has Berserk. She's like Super Saiyan, the mastered Super Saiyan Berserk, which is stronger than Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan Blue is able to damage that. So it's also like, maybe Goku's just holding back in God. I don't want to make too many leaps in logic, but it really seems like Goku's just simply holding back if he's able to damage Kefla times like over 100, don't you think? Anyways, guys, I'm rambling now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope that answered some things. Vados' statement is just completely illogical no matter how you look at it. There's literally no reason to take it for absolute fact. And of course, all the down players are going to run all over it, but if you use guides and consistency, it completely rejects that fact, and you could simply say that Vados is simply referring to suppressed Kefla. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Till next time.